Hey, 51-7, take it to the grave. Let's never die, that's why we're still awake. Sun keep beaming, city still breathing. Living in the moment, never gonna leave it. 51-7, take it to the grave. Legends never die, that's why we still awake. Sun keep beaming, city still breathing. Living in the moment, never gonna leave it. I ain't never seen a city sleep. You can really hit a city breathe. They be saying we ain't got culture, they just don't know what it really means. No, we gotta represent heavy underrated, yeah, we gotta make a scene. No shade to the other guys, but you can't deny we the one to be. Capital city, the map looking pretty when we on it. So community driven, the people we live in.
Kellie Dean.
Justin.
So glad you're here.
Thanks for having me today. I'm very excited. Been looking forward to this, and congratulations on this great opportunity to tell the world our story about the Lansing Promise.
Well, it's only been, 9 to 15 years, depending on how you count it. It's time to tell our story. Huh?
Maybe seems like some days seems like longer. Some days said that we're just flew by.
That's right.
Yeah, good.
Right.
Well, I'm glad to be with you today.
Well, it is really my privilege to call you chairman, to call you champion, I think maybe more importantly, to call you friend. We've been working together more than 9 years. Kellie, you have had not only my back, but the back of what I would say is every kid in Lansing for decades. When I think about, and when people think about Kellie Dean, there's not one person that doesn't get a smile on their face. There's not one person that doesn't say something positive about you. I'll tell you, I've been able to see you in action for more than 9 years now. It is remarkable what you have done. But let's get to the heart of it, Kellie. When it comes to community, you seem to have a belief and a demonstration that I think is remarkable and unmatched. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on community.
Well, Justin, first of all, thank you for the kind words. You're way too kind, and I always have operated under the pretense that we all live in this world together, and why not work together, and maybe we can make a difference in each other's lives, and so it's just been natural for myself, and so thank you for the kind words. But communities plays right into what I believe in, and I know today we want to talk about particularly Lansing Promise that you and I have worked together on now for so many years, and I have not experienced any nonprofit work or community investment that has been more impactful to me personally, but then what I believe here in the greater Lansing community than the Lansing Promise. When you really think about a scholarship program that was designed to help truly high-risk urban kids that need an opportunity to help them to overcome the financial hurdle that we learned quickly that can stop a person from getting advanced education at so many different levels. That financial piece that can be, in the long run, with an individual's life, so impactful. Yeah. You think about what we can do, and part of my personal motivation is how do we work to overcome poverty, homelessness, folks that can get the opportunity to have a life that they can prosper, raise families, and how about the fact what could we do here in our own backyard to keep folks living, working, prospering right here in the greater Lansing area. And we learned that getting this education, this advanced education, is going to make that opportunity realistic for all of our young people here.
And Kellie, what's so amazing about even what seems like a simple tie-in of a scholarship program and education leading to housing security and leading to food and short-circuiting poverty, that right there is the reason that the Promise has been able to do what it's been able to do. Because you knew from the very beginning that education without food, clothes, shelter, without hope, without an understanding, without an expectation of not only excellence and support, without an expectation of hope, right, is hard to do. But you also know this was generation work. You know, there's a statement you've said often, and I think maybe we'll go into it a little bit, but you really value education. And you see education as a game changer for a lot of students, a lot of families, a lot of community. Tell us a little bit about education in your life.
Absolutely, yes. So I know myself, I came out of the city of Pontiac. There was nothing given, a lot of hard work on my family's level to raise a family. And in Pontiac, I was raised in a 100% General Motors family. So if you weren't making the cars down the street, you were either selling them or doing something related to General Motors, and that was our life, my family's life for many years. And so had an opportunity to come to the great Michigan State University, and I always knew that yes, I could be putting those cars together at the Pontiac Motor Division or Fisher Body, or which was great work, and I did that in the summertime. But somewhere along the line, I really thought about becoming an educator. So that's what I studied, was really become a teacher. And long story how I ended up where I did, teaching children with special needs, but that was, I think God put me in the right place at the right time to get that opportunity, and that's what I did. And a true blessing in my life was, again, getting that education, but then also having a chance to work for the Lansing School District. I love to tell the story is that I had a professor at Michigan State that sent me to they needed some volunteers to work at the Marvin Beekman Center in Lansing, Michigan. So here, a young college kid, me, I said, okay, first question is, where's Lansing? So from East Lansing to Lansing, I had no clue where I'd even begin. But I had an opportunity to go to the Marvin Beekman Center, a world-class school, still is, and it has changed my life. So my path then became working with children with special needs, and you can track that back through my whole educational and then professional life. But through that, I could just see that the way to personally and within families to get ahead is to get that additional education.
Yeah.
And when I was asked to just become a member of a committee for what was called the Promise Zones, the Promise Zones in the state of Michigan, that Lansing was going to have a Promise Zone, I accepted the opportunity to come to a meeting. I accepted the opportunity to kind of explore what this could be. It took a few years before the Promise really got to a point where it could really start valuing what is it that the Lansing Promise could be, because we really didn't know. It's old adage that it was a clean sheet of paper. It could be whatever we wanted it to be, because there was never a Promise Zone before.
That's right.
But we knew that research was indicating that many of these families, that it was not part of their family dinner table conversation to sit and talk about that, to their son or daughter, that you need to explore the community college, you need to explore higher education, you need additional work skills to be competitive in this world, so you can get a job, buy a house, raise a family, and get these opportunities. That the Promise was really was going to become that life-changing experience that's going to help them get over the family to get over the hurdle of the fact that oh, I can't afford it. Well, you can, because there's going to be people here in that Lansing community who are going to contribute and going to make it happen.
That's right.
And so it developed into the Lansing Promise that was about fulfilling the financial needs of a young person to get 2-year, 4-year career in technical, but it also became a conduit to how do we all work together to overcome the challenges that our communities face, from food insecurities to housing to workforce development. And so I know I always say the Lansing Promise is still in its infancy. We hope it'll go on a sustainable plan and be here for a long time, forever. And but we know that it's starting to make a difference.
That's right. Well, and starting to make a difference, like more than 2,000 scholars difference.
Hard to believe, Justin. I appreciate the reminiscing here, because it seems like yesterday. But when we spent almost 2 years developing a plan, just the plan and how that would be, and it took a lot of local people, volunteers, that figured out that this has to be available to everyone. You have to, number one, to graduate. You don't have to be you had to be an advanced scholar. This needs to be for every student to have this opportunity to apply to Lansing Community College, Michigan State, Olivet, Davenport, and to be accepted. But then take it from there, and that we would fill in the blanks for the tuition and now books and just what's needed. And I've told the story, and I'm honored to reminisce with you here today, is that I had several leaders here in the community said, looked me in the eye and said, "Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. This can't be done. This is too big of a social challenge to be able to get these families to be able to even have this conversation about their kids going off to higher education." And so there's been so many good successes that have all built together a community, as you have already suggested, a community that's all pulling together here to get our young people these opportunities.
Listen, I am really glad that those folks were wrong, Kelly, because you guys not only proved them wrong, you believed them wrong, right? You believed in these kids, not necessarily, well, no. You've been doing this work long enough. Let me say this, that there are kids who are graduating now whom you were planning for before they were born. Now, it's not necessarily through the promise, that's through a lot of the other work. But the reality is this takes, if we're going to see generational change, it's going to take generational leadership. Kelly, your vision and your heart in this city, you are one in a generation. Within that, and knowing that, how do we build up, or how do we continue to raise up, or how do we continue to make way for this next generation? Especially as, you and I we're not getting younger, right? We're beginning to do this thing we call succession or succession planning, right? Because the promise has to be bigger than us, right? You're making strategic decisions. Of course, we're never letting you go. You'll remain with the promise forever. But how is it that we begin to look at the next generation of leadership to ensure that our mission carries on well beyond our lifetimes?
Well, thank you, Justin, again for your kind words. And but yes, how do we do it? I think some of that is happening right now. my leadership style and my my involvement in the Promise has been truly that I have just been a committee member with the other 20 plus folks that have all pulled together bi-monthly to really dig deep into what we can do to help develop a sustainable plan. And somehow we've chunked it away to make it happen. And I knew full well within me that we need additional leadership. We need additional individuals who can step up, because the 20 or 25 that we have now, they can't do it themselves. It's going to take more. It's going to take more of the community. Folks that have an interest in the Promise need to pay attention on what they can do to assist. But we have a couple of new leaders coming with Abel Travis and Carmen Argusinger to be able to step up to help you in your executive director position, to help mold what the next steps for the Promise are going to be here over the next number of years. And so time to freshen up and to be able to support you and support the board members here. And but I really believe that there's so many tentacles that are out there that can all help to pull together. You just look what's happened. We had a brand new Lansing Promise that folks were trying to figure out because we had no history. We started from scratch. But now within the community, we have communities and schools. We have Lansing Save, where folks are actually bringing this opportunity to start saving, and the statistics there are just phenomenal. That families that are saving at kindergarten level are so much more likely to go off to a higher education. And everybody doesn't have to have. That's the best part about the Promise. Our dollars can go to so many different avenues here to help our young people, career and technical. It's just outstanding, as well as 2- and 4-year opportunities. And our vision has really been bought into by the higher educators, who are all saying, "Oh yeah, I better see." I've got folks out there, Lansing Promise, who's putting the financial resources together. We got to make sure that we take care of these young people. And you're the best one to talk about the success of our scholars, because I get chills when I hear about the persistence factors, the success rates of our young people. And when our scholars, our young people, the scholars come back and say thank you to folks they don't even know who have contributed to change their lives. Those young people are gonna get a job, start a career, live here, and they're going to be your next Promise board members, and they're the next ones who are going to change this cycle.
Amen.
From those folks that said this couldn't be done.
So Kelly, imagine that. Oh, you just cast the vision. Imagine that the Promise 10, 15 years from now is run by scholars, for scholars, that the board is led by scholars.
Oh, absolutely.
For scholars.
Is that, yeah, excuse me. I have to always acknowledge that I was invited, and I worked along with Mark Alley, former Lansing police chief, and great gentleman who, helped on the ground level develop the Hope Scholarship.
Yeah.
And those all have to be acknowledged, because that's really the core of Lansing, folks that put dollars together for the Hope Scholars to help really high-risk kids to get ahead. Yeah. And then the Promise comes along with, a little different look to it and a little different goals and objectives, but really the same, about changing lives and having us all pulled together. So Mark, who helped start this, set the tone for a lot of us, and then now, again, we had these folk naysayers that just said this couldn't be done, and that really was a motivating factor. It's like, oh, you can't. Yeah. Well, we'll show you, because how about we do it one student at a time?
That's right.
So when I accepted the leadership role here, I had a lot of sleepless nights because we had no money and we weren't sure. I worked under the pretense that every graduate in the city of Lansing was eligible to go to college, and that is a true statement. They are all eligible. They can find a way to get to the higher education. So
that's right.
Not all of them came at once. It's growing quickly, but it's about one student at a time.
That's right.
It can't be done. Oh yeah, it can be, because it's going to be one at a time. Then it's going to be two, and then it's going to go. And you were with me. I will never forget. Seems like, again, yesterday, when we acknowledged 1,000.
That's right.
Scholars, young Everett dancer,
That's right.
Part of the famous Everett dance team, who was
That's right. Paris.
Cheerleader. Yeah, Paris, who was just beautiful young woman, and we called her up with Mark Kelly and said, "Look what we did. We've hit 1,000 already. Now we're at 2,000
and growing. I mean, we're averaging 60 to 70% of the graduating class taking us up on the Promise.
No,
now,
that.
You've always led, we want to graduate and we want to complete and get them into a career. And that, of course, is the next step in the Promise.
Yeah. I told the story several times recently. In the beginning, when we had that blank sheet of paper, not certain just how the Promise will unfold. Yeah. Many Saturdays, our board, what we did was went out and had FAFSA fairs, gatherings together where we were helping the parents to fill out the application forms to be able to, access the federal dollars that they're eligible for, where we kind of pieced all the dollars together to help to complete their applications. And so it took a while to get the community really all supporting and buying in. So that never was our overall focus. It was, raise the dollars to pay the tuition, pay what's needed to get our young people into school and get them started. But now your point, just to talk for a little bit on that. Now we want them to be successful. Yeah. It's just not about getting in. It's about, completing their education, getting a job.
That's right.
Moving forward. Again, always hoping they're gonna raise their families here, buy a house here, be part of our long-term the economy of jobs and helping as a economic force and for our greater community, and I believe that's happening, but it's going to happen even more to use your term, in 10 to 20 years down the road.
That's right. Well, and so we think about not only that success. Let's go back for a second. You raised a really important point. The vision was big enough that we needed FAFSA completed. We needed college and career support. We needed folks in the high schools talking to our kids. To the degree the vision was big enough that the College Access Network was built, which has a college advisor in each of the schools that we actually help invest in. The Promise does. We have pathfinders in each of the schools, which are current teachers, counselors, or staff who are willing to do a little extra on behalf of the Promise for our kids. We've got post-secondary partners coming in, and we even are now having senior dinners Kelly, where, we used to have to go on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
We had like 60 or 70% of all the seniors we've already broke bread with this last month and their families. And so we're talking about Promise, we're talking about FAFSA, we're talking about all these pieces, and you start to see a whole community come together and rally around the success of our kids. And then we start getting into the business community, right, who really from the beginning has had a sense of what this could be. But your instinct's really good. I think we're now just tipping the scales into what it looks like for us to build real internship opportunities, to build real employment opportunities, and ultimately real career opportunities.
Absolutely, Justin. Yeah, that's great. Great vision, and you've been doing a great job as I'll call you our head cheerleader here, because you've been organizing dinners, you've been organizing assemblies amongst students, you've been out promoting the Promise, but you've been promoting the opportunities that this is going to bring to that young person, and as a board member, it's been very inspiring to have you be this visual advocate out there with all these young people, because you can see the numbers growing, you can see the successes that are out there. I mentioned earlier the kids that are going to school who are being successful. That successful meaning that they're being more successful than the average student that goes off to 2 or 4 year college, and it's like, oh my God, I have some folks here in the community are helping me to afford this. They're supporting me, advocating for me, helping me, counsel me through, and I think I'm going to work a little harder at achieving the goals. And so that's been back to you. So as the chair who's had a chance to work along with you, you need to keep this going, because this is really going to be. It's just I'm an old sports guy, so I think we might be about finishing our second quarter of our whole development plan here. That's much more to come, and more to happen. There's more schools, there's more opportunities, there's more, but all of the Promise now delving deep into the success of our folks, to being certain that we're just not handing out money to say, oh, yeah, we got them started in school.
That's right.
Because we know life events happen for everybody, and we gotta make sure that they take advantage of this Promise opportunity.
That's right. Well, and we know that life keeps lifing. And here's something I've learned from you. Allow me to recognize real quick. The reason we can do all the things you just mentioned is also our staff. So we have a phenomenal team at the Promise, right, who is made up of former educators and former Lansing students, and folks who really believe wholeheartedly in the inherent worth of our kids, to the degree that they're willing to put in the hours and the effort to make sure our kids know that they are, in fact, beloved. But I think about that concept of beloved and belovedness. I think about how the board has supported us, how the board has rallied around our kids. But when I think about, and it's really what you're saying, Kelly, when I think about the successes that our kids are demonstrating at MSU, for example, 98 and 99% retention and persistence rates first, second year. That's unheard of. That's not just nation leading. That's beyond anything. And the wild part is this. When I tell people that, most folks are not surprised. And why? Because they're Lansing kids. Right? And our kids are remarkable in this city. The question is, have we as a community done what we can to ensure that success beyond high school is an expectation for all of our kids? And I think because of your leadership, Kelly, and your vision, we can say we're getting there.
We're getting there. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for, again, your kind words. But I mean, there's a team of folks. Your Promise team. The listeners today should know you were hired to do all of those things. You were a one man show, and we operated the first 7 or so years just with a bunch of volunteers, and somehow, again, use that term, chunked it out, got through, made it happen somehow or other.
That's right.
Overcame
Overcame lots of depression cycles. What we did, Kelly.
The Promise board should get an award for persistence.
Amen.
Because it just said, no, we're not giving up. We're going to make this happen.
Right.
So you came in with your background, your social work background, your legal background, all the things that you have brought here, and it helped take us to another level. And now with your team, we're now starting to dig much deeper into so many areas of success to really. So we really are, I think, going above and beyond what the original intent of this was. This was you probably have talked about it in other podcasts, but I always call it, this is kind of the Rust Belt, state of Michigan Rust Belt. You go to General Motors in automotive cities throughout, Flint and Pontiac and Battle Creek
Saginaw,
and
Detroit.
These are all our urban corridors. Detroit, obviously, that just said, how do we make a difference? How do we not lose these? So we've got good opportunities for young people here, and how do we make this happen? But I learned early on with this board, reminding we need to raise dollars to help overcome the financial challenges, the hurdles of the financial challenge, to get kids from graduation into. But with the great volunteers that we had, we always want to do a little more.
That's right.
A lot more in wrapping around that whole young person. And been very exciting, particularly in the Lansing School District, to see the increase in graduation rates. Yeah. That's more young people that are going to get out there in the world, help our community, success of our great community, and now expanding on career and technical that we all know is needed in so many areas. In my business world alone, I need trained individuals from IT to accounting to heavy-duty diesel mechanics that are making $25 an hour plus.
Awesome.
Great career opportunities for those that have an interest, and those are all good examples of just what I need right here in Lansing. As we help our young Lansing Promise scholars to get ahead, that will help us in the workforce, as well as them helping them prosper.
That's right. Well, and something that you have demonstrated for the entire time that I have worked with you is that good business is good business, right? That doing right by our kids always is the right move, period. And if it leads to a stronger community, if it leads to a stronger workforce, if it leads to a stronger housing stock, if it leads to less poverty and increased prosperity, even better. That's good business. You've had a heart for this thing, Kelly, that I think has been unmatched and unstoppable. But let me ask a question. If you had a word for those in the community, we're talking maybe it's folks in business, folks in the community generally speaking, folks in political offices, folks in Lansing or the greater Lansing area who say, yeah, I believe in Lansing's kids. Do you have a word of encouragement or wisdom to give them about the promise and about our kids?
Well, I couldn't. I don't know if I'd have to think of a moment if I came up with a word.
A statement.
A statement. I would encourage, again, businesses, community, the politicians out there, that they really need to take a look at this movement, because there's so much more. There's more kids out there. There's more opportunities in other communities to look at what this can be. Just not our larger urban settings across the state of Michigan. There are others, but our urban settings who would maybe have have families that have less opportunities, or again, I use the term the dinner table conversation about what they need to do, because many families that have never had that educational opportunity prior to. So we may end up with a promise, a lot of first time college goers, let's say. But the word to all those out there is that, take a look at, what's happened in our first few years here of the promise, that this is a long-term plan that has already touched the lives of over 2,000 young people that are in school, are graduating. We know for a fact we have kids graduating in all levels, and some that are in medical school that have already graduated from law school to our teachers. I mean, this is our future veterinarians and future business people, our future entrepreneurs, who are going to only help our community to prosper.
That's right.
And so many challenges can be overcome there, with this level of education. That without it, our community will suffer. And I always kind of reference back early on with the promise that the Church of Greater Lansing did a survey amongst 100 plus churches, and they looked at homelessness, poverty, hunger, crime. They looked at every aspect of challenges that our mid-Michigan area was facing. And he said, how do we overcome it? Overwhelmingly, the community felt that getting a higher education was only going to help eradicate these challenges, or certainly improve them, but to give our young future citizens a step up to be able to not fall into the ills and other challenges. And so it's been great, because that was a very broad summary and a great level of recommendation, which was perfect for the promise, because here that's what we aspired. So the promise has accomplished a lot more than, I guess, when you're so focused on getting a program started. And now taking a chance to look back and see the number of scholars, the awareness, the future potential of it. There's much more to be done, but at least we've touched a few lives right now that can help with this long-term sustainable plan. As you said earlier, our scholars themselves may be the ones to keep this going in the long run.
Kellie Dean, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your heart. And thank you for your vision. You have both inspired, you have cast a vision, and to be honest, sometimes you had to drag some folks along. But you've got us to a point in which our kids understand and know that future is real, that success beyond high school is expected, and that they are going to be successful. The question our students are now facing is, what am I going to do? And that's a great problem to have, right? Not that I'm going to do, but what am I going to do, right? We talk about college, we talk about career, we talk about skilled trades, we talk about entrepreneurship, and there's a lot of kids figuring out what they want to do, internship and otherwise. When it comes to the real, sort of heart of hearts of the promise, where are we Kellie, in 50 years? You've hinted at it already. But when you guys were starting with this blank sheet of paper, right, this was about, and you've said it before, creating a long-term, sustainable plan. In 50 years, Kellie, what does the Promise look like in your heart of hearts?
Well, great question, Justin. Yeah, it seems like a long time period, but already we've hit, 12, 14 years or so that we've been working on this. Time flies. So you got to have that long-term vision. But I truly believe there'll be an increasing number of students who will take advantage of the Promise. I believe that we probably will be adding additional higher educational institutions. It could be the school down the road, or the school like Eastern, Central, Western. Who knows? Right at the moment, we've got our core base, and we're expanding great opportunities with Michigan State and Olivet and Davenport and so on. And the gem here in our community, to have a young person start at Lansing Community College. It's just amazing opportunities, and it's how they're getting their life started. So, all right. So longer vision. There's going to be more kids, more financial opportunities. There'll be this transition, what may be in its infancy now, of the scholars themselves. I can't tell you how many folks over time. And again, just a few years, these scholars who I wish I knew every scholar. I wish I knew every one of them, but I don't have to and don't need to. We're going to help them to get ahead. But these scholars that have come back and said, I can't wait until I get a job. I can't wait till I get a job. The first opportunity that I have, I'm going to give back to the Promise. I'm going to help make the difference. And I thought, that just bowled me over in so many ways. Or these young people, they're saying, thank you. So there are people out there that I don't even know are helping to help form my life in the future. There will be more of that. There will be more. And there's potential for having a even greater groundswell of folks that are going to say, this is what Lansing is all about.
That's right.
This is what Lansing is all about, taking care of each other, bringing that community together that you're great about, always recognizing community, that everyone is in this together. And I hope that our listeners, what a great opportunity to make a difference in their own town by getting involved in some level of the Promise. It could be financial contribution, can be supporting just your neighbors, your other family members, to educate them on the opportunities of Promise. How about businesses are out there taking young people in on internships and how about explorations to begin with, career explorations, internships, hiring them at various stages of their education career or afterwards. So there's so many things that I think that are still yet to come, but I believe the Promise has a bright future. We work hard, and everyone again pulled together on the positive nature. The Promise is only going to get better.
Amen. May it be, and may it come to pass. And let everyone know from this moment forward, Kellie P. Dean had a hand in it. Kellie, thank you.
Justin, thank you. Thank you. You're so kind, and thanks for the kind words. I was one of many who just said, "Yeah, this has potential." So we've been blessed to have folks that have believed and that it can be done, and the fun part about it all right now is that is seeing the young people growing, seeing their success and what it may be. But a group of volunteers had just said, no, we're not giving up. We're gonna make this happen. And under your leadership now, and the future leaders of the Promise, there's great opportunities yet to become. So it will be exciting to think where we're going to be in 5 years. Probably an actuarial could figure out how many we've had so far and how many kids are there. How exciting it is for our primary district, the Lansing School District. I predict there's going to be more families who are going to move here to be part of the school district. The great things that are happening there, and those that are going to come here to be part of the Promise movement. And a lot of that is that we were never Kalamazoo, the Kalamazoo Promise. The Kalamazoo Promise came with money first. Well, we didn't have that opportunity, but we now have a plan. We have a readiness plan that needs to grow, and we'll make the difference. That will make the difference in the long run. Our the solid nature of our readiness plans to get kids to improve in all levels of their academic or their career success, and very, very excited about so I hope I'm around in 10 years or 20 years would be fantastic, and to look back and say I remember when we gave our first scholarship out, and now there'll be even more thousands, and we should all feel good. The community should all feel good about pulling this together.
That's right. Planting trees under whose shade the next generation will plant some trees. Right? It's each one teach one, and each one reach one.
That sounds great. That sounds like a great opportunity. So you need to keep up, Justin, you and your executive role, keep up your enthusiasm, keep your staff rolling, and a board that only wants to serve, and we'll plant those trees, and we'll make it happen.
Kellie Dean, thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Thanks for having me today. This is pretty exciting to be on one of the first podcasts, and I know you're getting a lot of different community perspectives, and so I'm going to look forward to listening in to all the other podcasts that are here. So good, and and then if you ever look for another career, you get probably a good job in radio or something. So
there we go. Well, I got a face for it, so we'll be fine.
Yeah, fantastic.
Kellie, this is LP Listening Sessions, and I got to be honest, it has been my pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Well, I hope we were able to tell the story. That's all. I haven't done many of these, but just to tell the story that this is really, the Lansing Promise is really a good thing, and it should be a big deal here in our community, and everyone now and in the future should pay attention, because we're only going to make a difference, and everyone can be involved in this at some level.
That's right.
So thanks for having me today, and let's keep her going.
Keep her going.
Okay, 51-7, take it to the grave. Let's never die, that's why we still awake. Sun keep beaming, city still breathing. Living in the moment, never gonna leave it. 51-7, take it to the grave. Legends never die, that's why we still awake. Sun keep beaming, city still breathing. Living in the moment, never gonna leave it. Been too many moments
moments of silence. Too many lives have been lost to gun violence. My God, we need some guidance. It's the same city that can be so tragic, also produces a brother like Shabazz and bursts a man like magic. Why I'm Lansing, born and raised, 517 to the grave. We got culture in our veins, we take the reins. With reformation comes a promise, better future is upon us. You can doubt it like Thomas, but we gon' rise like Adonis, and ain't nobody gon' stop us. We gon' get better, this a letter to my city that we fed up. Ain't gon' let applying pressure until everybody gets it. They can't try us, they can't buy us, gentrify us. When it's coming to my city, man, I'm blue collar biased. They can't divide us, united we stand like digits on a hand. Make it to the promised land, we coming up with a plan to make this a better place. I'm proud of Lansing, you can see it on my face. We gotta retrace and learn how to win this
51-7, take it to the grave. Legends never die, that's why we still awake. Sun keep beaming, city still breathing. Living in the moment, never gonna leave it. 51-7, take it to the grave. Legends never die, that's why we still awake. Sun keep beaming, city still breathing. Living in the moment, never gonna leave it. I ain't never seen a city sleep. You can really hit a city breathe. They be saying we ain't got culture, they just don't know what it really means. No, we gotta represent heavy underrated, yeah, we gotta make a scene. No shade to the other guys, but you can't deny we the one to be. Capital city, the map looking pretty when we on it. So community driven, the people we living with, loving each other. That's all that we seeking for, ain't no reason to need more. A lot of people saying go to the D for it, so we need to be seen more. Dream more, need a reason to be more, we just gotta believe more. I mold my style around the influences that I've witnessed. A new beginning, truer vision, it'll soon be finished. Endless inspiration from the people that I've known. Yes, I've grown to love the city as the city made me grown. Know whatever way you choosing for yourself to be expressed, there's a place that's meant for you so you can grow into your best. I can attest to its greatness with my chest, I'm here to say it. We will soon become the mecca of success. I'm expecting nothing.
51-7, take it to the grave. Legends never die, that's why we still awake. Sun keep beaming, city still breathing. Living in the moment, never gonna leave it. 51-7, take it to the grave. Legends never die, that's why we still awake. Sun keep beaming, city still breathing. Living in the moment, never